WWE 2K fans should know that the game was almost scrapped in its infancy, thrown out as well as the entire series and consigned to the garbage heap of history. Yes, the WWE was so unhappy with some recent iterations of 2K games that they were not willing to sign off on the use of WWE Superstar licenses. We came very close to a generation of Randy Morton, of Rebecca Winch. I promise I'm not just going to do that the entire video. Of The Block. Thankfully, after taking a year off to lick their wounds, 2K came back with a massive success over the last few years, and 2K24 is the latest iteration, which has been vital to the growth and long-term success of the WWE itself. Seriously though, give me some more budget WWE Superstar names in the comments while you watch this. WWE having a video game on their roster has been a vital part of their marketing campaign for the last 25 years. Since the years of WWE Attitude, the years of WrestleMania 2000, No Mercy, SmackDown vs. Raw, the WWE have always been insistent that every year there is a new wrestling game in the market to keep them competitive. You can see the importance of this with how they market their cover stars. It is such an aggressive campaign. You see Cody Rhodes, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair everywhere in the build-up to them being announced, and in years past the exact same thing has happened. It's also why you no longer get one cover star. They're now trying to hit multiple demographics to appeal to as many people as possible to make them buy this game, and by extension, add a little more investment into the WWE as a brand. The 2K brand has also become synonymous with social media arguments, hate campaigns, and the usual spite. A large part of this the WWE are thrilled with because it's things like, oh, this wrestler is 2 rating points lower than they were last year, now we must obviously riot. It used to be if Cena wins, we riot. Nowadays it's if Cena is 2 points higher, we riot. This, however, is driving further WWE traffic, and this is why they've reached 100 million subscribers. The WWE didn't enter the YouTube game early. They came late, and it didn't matter. It also answers longer WWE goals, like parity with actual major sports. This isn't a wrestling game per se. 2K24 is a sports game. It's similar to the Madden franchise, it's similar to the FIFA franchise, it's incredibly similar to both of those things, because every year you get a new wrestling game, just like you get a new pro sports baseball game. This means that if you're not a wrestling fan, but you enjoy playing the sport actually in video games, you'll do pretty well. I spent about 4 months heavily invested in a cricket game. Have you ever actually watched a game of cricket? Why the hell did I care about that sport? It also allows a full-on takeover of Twitch and YouTube spaces, and TikTok as well, for streaming. So WWE themselves, not even slightly involved, but they are raking it in, getting those views, and ensuring that people who are watching this content also think, I haven't checked out WWE in a while, I should go and have a look at that. With all of this and more in mind, the WWE could not let such a valuable franchise go by the wayside. There were talks with non-2K developers in order to ensure the game still got released, and WWE Battlegrounds was considered something of a pilot to a new system. It failed completely. It failed in every possible way, but for a moment, that might have been the future of the industry. The idea that they're going away from realism into more cartoonish traits was something that was genuinely appealing to Vince McMahon. Another reason I'm very glad he's gone. Not to mention all the other reasons, obviously. Knowing that Battlegrounds was not a success and that 2K were working to rebuild their engine, the WWE gave them a set of clear instructions. The WWE is almost fully in charge of this business relationship. The WWE profits massively from this business relationship. It is not necessarily autonomous, but more symbiotic. Everybody wins from the 2K model. So the WWE gave a number of instructions largely influenced by the success of gaming channels like their own Up Up Down Down and the work from Xavier Woods and Tyler Breeze in the GM Mode franchise. A lot of the ideas that they had were mostly based on engine fixes, but the return of GM Mode was something that the WWE insisted upon, and that's been a huge success for them since the return to the 2K franchise. This puts them in direct contrast to AEW's Fight Forever, which unfortunately is the closest competitor that they actually have, and thus the only fair comparison we can make. AEW Fight Forever was produced at a cost of millions and was in no way profitable at any point. In fact, the game still has a lot of recurring issues with it, primarily similar to issues that 2K did have in its infancy. 2K has ironed them out over the years by having the same engine constantly. If Fight Forever is released every year, you'd see massive improvements. It would eventually become a franchise, but at the moment, it's nothing but a pretty big failure. The success of 2K may have caused Tony Khan to believe that there was a strong and thriving market for wrestling games. There isn't. There is a strong and thriving market for more WWE content from WWE fans who are also gaming fans. 2K is not a great seller in actual gaming terms, but it's a great seller and a great attraction for WWE fans who are also gaming fans. It's a way of keeping lapsed fans invested. Also, one of the ways that the WWE can massively boost their profits is by having a third party create the game. This means that that third party is paying license fees for use of WWE names and personalities. I'm not familiar at this point as to what the AEW relationship is, but it does go back to Wembley, for example, where Tony Khan paid through the nose to book Wembley, and it was a successful show, but that booking fee is still there, draining that success. The WWE, when they go to the UK, get paid for the privilege. It's also why they've never booked Wembley. This means that from a WWE standpoint at least, they're not only profitable from game sales, even if the game is not successful, they still make plenty of money. There is no possibility of losing anything from WWE to 2K. Meanwhile, from a 2K perspective, the game is remarkably simple to make. The engine is already there. The models are already there. They just need to tweak them slightly. The rating system, already there. The universe mode, the GM mode, the showcase mode, it's all already there. The entire thing could be produced in about 20 minutes just by calling it an update and tweaking some numbers. The gameplay is intentionally repetitive, the idea being that it's comfortable. They don't change the button situations, so why would they change the engine? That way you can pick up 2K21 just as easily as you can pick up 2K24 and know exactly how to play the game. If you're good at 2K14, you'll be good at this year's. The intentional move towards realism, away from the cartoonish elements of WWE Battlegrounds, means that platforms and consoles want to use this footage. They want to showcase what they can do. The PS5, when it launched, used WWE footage as a way of saying, look how realistic these people are, because they wanted recognizable human faces. Now, don't get me wrong, Bayley and Becky Lynch definitely didn't look great this year, but they're working on it, aren't they? It's rare that a finished game is even released anymore. There's always at least a day one patch. This year's cover stars were announced as Cody Rhodes, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair. As with the game's release, there was a huge horde of racist commentary against Bianca Belair, which first and foremost, she absolutely does not deserve. But it also doesn't hurt the WWE for that to happen. Drawing further attention to that means that mainstream media will start to pay more attention to advertising their game for them. And when they advertise their game, they advertise the WWE by extension. The WWE wants mainstream attention. They could not care less about being covered in the Wrestling Observer. They could not care less about being covered by Fightful. They want to be covered by the New York Times. They want to be covered by ESPN. They want to be covered by The Guardian in the UK. They want all the big names. They could not care less about wrestling media. It means little to nothing to them and just fills the gap when there isn't someone bigger coming along. Typically, the only mainstream coverage they get is when something massive happens, like Vince McMahon resigns or The Rock returns. The WWE game gives them additional coverage at a time when they're building up to WrestleMania. Now, is the game a success? Hard to tell. At the moment, the Metacritic score is 82%, which is a rough 4 out of 5. Not a bad place to be, certainly, but it does draw comparisons to more repetitive entries that they've had over the years. Also, I joke about the game being unfinished, but I've seen at least 3 patches already in the first week to address problems that the game had when it shipped. We are no longer in a world where they hire testers. They release the game and say, okay, you tell us what's wrong with it and we might fix it. That said, the business model is no longer short term. It doesn't matter what people think on the first day anymore. It matters what people think in a few months when they release the DLC and CM Punk is added to the game. They don't do one game release anymore. They release 4 or 5 over the course of the year. Before you know it, here's the next one. They are constantly taking money from WWE fans and constantly ensuring mainstream attention to advertise it. Yes, 2K is horrendously cheap to make. It's horrendously repetitive to produce, and it barely adds anything new to each incarnation each year. But it currently holds a full monopoly on wrestling games that prevents games that are new and fresh, like AEW Fight Forever, from even coming close to breaking into that market. 2K this year is already another huge success, because it does not matter if it's a good game. It does not matter if it sells brilliantly. The WWE don't care. The fact that there is a buzz about them, the fact that I'm making this video right now, that is the only thing that WWE care about. Let me know in the comments what you think of 2K24 so far, and if you want more coverage like this, let me know as well. Check the video on the screen right now for more WTF Wrestling, and we'll see you soon.